Hello and welcome back to Liable of Zest. One of our subscribers just a while back asked us that we create a video that teaches you how to use one of these peanuts. I don't know if you'll recall, but we created a video on how to make one of these, and now that you have made one of your very own peanut, we are going to run through a little bit of a process that shows you how to use it. We will be using a sequence very similar to the one that we used when we did our rolling and recovery session. However, I need you to be aware that this is a different type of a surface area. It's a lot smaller and it's a lot harder. So if you do have very tender muscles, please make sure that you do take caution. Let's get straight into it. We're going to place that peanut into the center of our mat. We're going to start with our left glute. So you're just going to lift yourself up and place that peanut comfortably under that glute area. So it's just below that hip bone towards the back part of you, and you're going to use this right leg to lift yourself up and place yourself onto that peanut, and you're slowly going to roll up and down. So as you can see, the positioning of my body, I'm placing pressure onto my left arm and on my right foot. This left one is just giving me balance, and as I'm going, I'm rolling up and down on that peanut. So also just make sure when you are doing this that you start a little bit higher and move your way down into that glute area. So just rolling up and down, and if you can or want to, you can just lean your hips and almost open them a little bit more towards the wall in front of you, and just rolling up and down and finding those tight areas as you're going. I like to lift a little bit higher and go into that QL area. And again, when you find a tender spot, and if you are able to manage it, you can cross friction, and that's just when you lean forward from left to right as opposed to up and down. So I've been doing a lot of running and lifting and carrying lately with moving house, so I'm quite tight in those areas, so this is really, really great. And let's do the same thing on the other side, lifting yourself up and leaning that glute into that QL area, starting from that upper part of your body. And again, like I said, you are using your opposite leg to roll yourself up and down, and that actual leg that's being rolled is the one that's just pushing yourself forward and backwards, and you're leaning into that right side, lifting and lowering up and down. I tend to prefer the peanut into this area because sometimes the roller is a little bit too soft, so we get a lot more pressure and release with that smaller, harder surface of that peanut. So again, just rolling around, rotating those hips according to where you're feeling tight, and applying that pressure onto that peanut where is most effective for you. Again, also just starting from the top and working your way down, and just do a little bit of that QL like we did earlier, so you might have to go a little bit lower and leaning into that peanut again. Let's turn back over, and we are going to do our hamstrings. So we're starting with the upper part of the hamstring or lower part of that glute max, and also applying that pressure onto that peanut. Again, you can see my right leg is the one that's doing the work. It's leaning, it's bending and pushing my body forward and backwards as I work my way down the leg towards my knees. And also, I'm lifting my glutes off the ground using my hands. And if you find a nice tender spot, you can cross friction, and please just make sure you stop at least 2 centimeters above that crease line of the back part of your knee, And you can just rotate a little bit and roll up and down. Don't go too much on your side during this one. If you haven't done a structured rolling pattern from your glutes all the way down, you might find just that you really tender into that region. So just make sure that you are slow and controlled with rolling from the top, making your way down. If you are wanting to roll into that lateral side of your thigh and into that ITB, which is short for iliotibial band, which is the band that runs down into this region, tends to get really tight if you have very tight glutes, and it is very tender if you go straight there. So let's just keep rolling up and down, and then we will progress to use this peanut into our upper traps and shoulders. So if you are getting headaches, we can use it into here. So if you prefer to do it while standing, you can do it against the wall. I'm going to do it on the mat, and I'm going to place it under my head. So you're going to lie down on the mat, and I want you to place that peanut. So just the outer one side sticking out and the other side under that upper trap area, and you're just going to get that neck. If you do struggle with neck pain, I'd recommend you do this standing, but if you want, you can also just support your head with your other hand, and you're just going to roll yourself forward and back, just applying that pressure and just getting into those different tight or knot areas. So just leaning and putting pressure into your trap and just allowing that release. And you can hold for a few seconds and release, and just change the positioning of your back and body and hold for a few seconds and release. And you can do the same thing on that other side. And also, I tend to find that I get quite tight into those mid-scap areas. So again, same thing, you can interlace both hands now, or you can put this hand comfortably on the floor, and you're just pushing your weight into that peanut. So if you can just make sure that that peanut, that one side is on that just outside of your spine, and the outer side is coming out towards your scap area. And again, you're just pushing down and holding and applying that pressure. You can do the same thing on the other side, using a peanut, digging into those scaps and shoulders. Just make sure that you aren't applying any pressure into that spine area. Make sure you're a centimeter away from each side of the spine when you are doing your right or your left side. You can apply pressure for a few seconds, release, and then find another point and do that same thing. That tends to release and loosen up the muscle, which will assist in the decreased tension in that neck area, which also may decrease those headaches. I like to do that sequence followed by some neck stretching, which you'll have seen in some of my other videos. I hope you enjoyed that video. If you did, hit that like button and subscribe to our channel so that you can get more videos just like this one. Looking forward to helping you in the next video, and I'll see you soon.